Hello, welcome to another Mad Hatter review. So, you know what? I didn't cover this on my channel, but I was quite interested in this. It is the WCW Monday Nitro Mattel Creations. They did, if you don't know, a crowdfund for this. It wasn't the ring, it was the stage for WCW. If you are a wrestling fan, you know what this is. If you grew up in the 90s, you know what this is. It is a stage that is supposed to replicate WCW at its height, Monday Nitro. And Mattel Creations did a crowdfunding. And last night, it failed, okay? Last night at midnight, there's no way to soften that, okay? I was on the Mega J Retro channel with Toy Connections. Check those guys out. It was a fun stream. We kind of did sort of like a countdown on that. And yeah, it got to like, what was it, 3,932 backers. It needed to get to 5,000. That was the minimum. It did not make it, okay? And there's, I think, a bunch of obvious reasons why it didn't make it. And maybe it's emblematic, word of the day, of a bigger picture with crowdfunding in general. I don't know. So yeah, $5,000 sold was the target. And by the way, I actually backed this. Okay, so I will be. I guess I can look at it like $400, 400 plus dollars richer very soon. As soon as they refund my card, because they did take the money out, or it's pending or whatever, but I will get my money back, okay? I don't live too far from Mattel here in Southern California. See the fucking palm tree out there? I'm in the neighborhood, okay? Yeah, look, why did it fail? All right, so you know, what is it? Occam's razor. Simplest reason is the most obvious, or usually the explanation. $400. Okay, number one, it's $400. It's $400 for an entrance stage. Now, look, it comes with all nifty lights. There's a lot to it. I think a lot of people would agree. This thing should have cost $250, I think, at most. Okay. The other issue is that you know, you had these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figures, and you had to unlock them. Okay, so the initial idea was target is 5,000. Now at 5,000, you would have gotten Rey Mysterio and Scott Steiner. Problem is, it didn't begin that way. I think it began with Rey Mysterio, and then you got Scott Steiner on the different tiers. So before that, so the characters you could have gotten was Hulk Hogan, Rey Mysterio Jr., DDP, Ultimate Warrior with Jeans, and Scott Steiner. It's not a great lineup, okay? Especially for WCW, NWO fans. I mean, it's like, why not Sting? Why not some other characters? I know there's probably some rights things, but this is not a great lineup, first of all. I think that's also a contributing factor. And yeah, so the unlockables were Rey Mysterio and Scott Steiner at 5,000. That's the minimum. DDP at 7,000. Ultimate Warrior 9,000. Hulk Hogan at 11,000. 11,000. Just the fact that they thought they would get to 11,000 means that some of these companies are completely delusional. Okay, and that's the bigger problem. So number one, $400 entrance, okay? That should cost $250. And I know some people are going to be like, well, you know, the figures, you got to bake the figures in. I don't know. That's a problem when you start getting into like things that are supposed to be reward tiers or unlocks, and you're baking them into the price, okay? $400 is like everything is baked into the price. And you're not going to get those 5 figures, okay? It's if it hit, it would have barely hit minimum. So you would have gotten 2 figures. So this goes to the argument with the Engine of Vengeance. People are like, well, that comes with Mephisto and all those figures. Not if it doesn't unlock all the way. So you can't really count those, okay? You need to hit every mark. You gotta have Hiss Tank luck, okay? And I'm gonna talk about the Hiss Tank. But yeah, so number one, it's that price, okay? Number two, I think poor character selection, okay? Everybody wanted that Scott Steiner, pretty much. And then everyone else was tepid about the other guys, okay? They needed to come correct with everybody in order to get people excited. And then I think number 3 is probably that this is WCW. There's not a lot of younger people that connect to WCW. They know WWE, okay? WCW hits a specific target, a specific age range. You had to be there, okay? And I also don't think this is marketed that well. I don't remember seeing like a lot of marketing for it. Maybe it's just me and where I go and social media and all that. I don't do it that much, but I feel like I didn't see a lot of information about this. But yeah, WCW is it's not WWE. It means a lot to people my age. And again, if you grew up in the 90s, you know what this is. You know the NWO. You know all that stuff. But yeah, so I don't know. It kind of bummed me out. Kind of made me sad because I feel like you're not really going to get another shot at this. I don't think that they're going to put the money into another WCW thing. And the bigger message that is a bummer with this is now they look at it like, well, I guess, the fans don't want this. The truth is we do. I mean, you got to $3,932 with a very overpriced entrance stage. It's because the company, just the ask was too much. Okay, so it's just like, yeah, if the ask is that high, of course it looks like nobody wants it. So it's a bummer. And so, yeah, I mean, it's pretty extravagant. Again, I went in on it because I really wanted this, but I don't blame anybody who doesn't want this. And it's certainly over fucking priced. In terms of crowdfunding, something has to change because, they're spending a lot of money to develop these very, very high ticket items, and they don't always go through unless there's a feverish demand for it and they execute that demand well and at a good price. His Tank is an example of something that they hit the zeitgeist with that. A lot of people wanted it. The price was reasonable. Okay, I know some people would say it's overpriced, but it was right there on the cusp of like reasonable. You know what I mean? It came with a lot of unlocks as well, but the unlocks, they rolled through. So now if you got the His Tank, I feel like you're getting your money's worth. You're getting a lot of figures, but something like this it's almost like they're trying to keep it so safe and go like, no, just charge the customer like they have all these unlocks. So now this never gets made. Okay, I don't think so. I don't think they touch that again. Does the crowdfund model need to be changed? I think it does. Okay, it's this high ticket item game. It's not valid for some items, okay? Something like the His Tank, something like Eternia, I feel like those are big gets. Those are things that a lot of people have been waiting for. They have a lot of notoriety. They have a lot of fandom behind it. It's enough that you can kind of get that rolling and kind of skyrocket into a successful crowdfund. But the problem is when it's not that, when it's like lower on the radar, like this WCW thing, like the Engine of Vengeance, another thing. It's like that was not. I mean, maybe if that was like the Ghost Rider that people know, like the iconic Ghost Rider, then crowdfunding works. But does crowdfunding work when people are not? When A, it's overpriced, and B, people are not. There's not a ton of people that know that IP. It's like Galactus. That's a safe bet, but the Engine of Vengeance, Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, it's not a safe bet. So I think there's a problem there. I think there needs to be another tier of crowdfunding. I don't think you can take obscure things and be like, okay, giant price tag, and especially trying to hit targets that you're never going to hit. 11,000. They thought they were going to hit 11,000 at that price. That's ludicrous. Okay, so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this means moving forward. I think that crowdfunding really does need to be adjusted when it's not a slam dunk, or taken away altogether. I'm not in love with the crowdfunding model. I know a lot of people aren't. Giant corporations crowdfunding, hat in hand, give us money. I think that they should just have the confidence to know. It's too easy. You know what I mean? It's like you should know your fan base enough to know how many people are probably going to buy this and at what price, and just release. You know what I mean? It's if you knew your fans, you would know, because I'll tell you something. When this was revealed, I knew it wouldn't fund. I mean, I funded it, but I knew it was not going to fund, and so did a lot of people. So how do we know, and the companies don't know? How is that? I'll tell you how. It's we just know the fandom. Okay, so it just takes somebody in these companies to know that and price accordingly. If you want to do crowdfunding, if you're committed to crowdfunding, sure, go nuts. But you have to understand that when it's not Galactus, when it's something smaller, everything has to start coming down. And you can't just start packing in the price of all the unlockables and all the tiers into the bake it into the initial price. Okay, that's silly, and this is what happened here. So I remember telling my buddy this is going to fail hard, and it did. I mean, 3,932 is respectable, but they needed 5,000 at minimum. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if there's any, I don't know, any WCW stuff moving forward, or are they just... Problem is with corporations is once they think something stinks, everybody stays away from it. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's like, oh, whoa, don't bring that up. Everybody's scared of it. So that's a bummer. I do think they'll release that Scott Steiner at some point because, cha-ching. But yeah, you're not going to get this. You're never going to get this unless maybe you go a custom route or something. I remember somebody was talking about like somebody that makes custom stuff. I'm sure somebody can make this, but it's like, I want that one. So I don't know. It is what it is. Hey, you know what? I get my $400 back, 400 plus, and maybe that could go to something that's not crowdfunded and, a company that, I don't know, has enough confidence in itself to release a product, and it knows the fan base enough to release a product that they know can sell. So anyway, that is all I got. Speaking of crowdfunding, I might be crowdfunding something soon, and I guarantee you it's not going to be $400. But I don't know what the demand is. But I'm hoping that I can give you guys more details on that soon. You like how I took the Mattel thing and I made it into a plug for myself? That's kind of how I roll. Anyhow, did it get dark during this video? I felt like I started in the light and ended up in the night. Okay. Anyhow, WCW Monday Nitro, R.I.P. Okay, you were not meant to be, I guess, and we'll continue moving forward. Okay, so that is all. Comment, subscribe, drop me a like. See you next time. Bye bye.